objective of the Art of the Rhythm Section Retreat is to bring to the forefront for all rhythm section participants basically guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, right? For using that particular framework or that template. As to what you go through and how you relate to each other when you're on the bandstand. The first platform that I felt would be great to deal with is in terms of that platform is a jam session platform where individuals come in, never met each other before, and someone calls a tune, or they're standing in line, they're signed up, or they're there first until they come on the bandstand. Drummers, bass players, okay, don't know each other, but everybody knows this tune. How are you going to apply yourself to playing with people you don't know who knows this tune? Okay, what are the rules? All of those rules, they're very few, and the biggest rule for everyone who knows the piece is to play the piece simply and effectively. This is the most elusive of all the points because everybody comes on the bandstand saying, I'm not going to sound bad. And they're right. They're going to play their buns off, but it's only for them. It's not as a rhythm section. They don't think about the fact that these are guys I don't even know how they work. And gals. It's just a mentality. And what I want to do is to change that, or at least affect change. Okay? And that's where we are with the Art of the Rhythm Section Retreat. That's what we're dealing with. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to what I hope will be a very good, strong journey in the positive for all of us. You know, as Don mentioned, it's probably around 200 years of cumulative experience between the four of us up here with Rick and Dean and Gerry and myself. Some interesting things that happened along those days, the days in those years that stick with us, and both in the good and the bad. And the yin and the yang of music is what it is. So, as a rhythm section, from my perspective, what I seek is communication on the highest level possible. Some things can't even be explained. It's just about, but it is all based on what I've experienced before, maybe for sure with others, along with my colleagues at present. So I see that as being information that we can all share. If you see it on TV or on the screen, it's one thing. Hearing it in a record is another thing. But to then see it transferred to real time right now, it brings you closer to where you would like to be. Some of the things we do you may not like, or you may not understand. But at least you have the information to sift through down the road when you may just like it, you know, or not. You will at least know it's a win for you what you don't want to do as well as what you want to do.
What happened next is that Billy introduced a video from 1959, Miles Davis performing his piece, So What, as a sextet, the way it was recorded. Then Billy explained what was exemplified in this piece and why he wanted everybody to hear it.
It's presented by those four people, but it's generated by three who support this one individual who actually is not just playing and representing the band or representing himself, but he's getting the information from everybody behind him and around him and feeding them back information as to what's working, what is not. This is what rhythm sections are supposed to do, in my opinion. You just don't lay it down. Rock and roll, acid, gothic, whatever you want to call it, it still comes down to everybody listening to each other and then melding together to make a personality that I call a band face. When the band moves forward and everybody speaks to the audience and communicates to those who listen, who of course respond, body language, it becomes sixth sense kind of environment at that point. This is what I'd like to share with you, some of our ideas, how we go about doing it over the past, since 2013 we've been playing together on a consistent basis in and out, how we go about that. So we're going to play a little bit of that tune in our own way, and then we'll get into what we're thinking about it, okay? Give us a minute.
After explaining the significance of what was demonstrated in Miles' So What, Billy and his band played their own unrehearsed interpretation of it and then asked people to express their observations of the performance. This is the same process Bill and his fellow players, his coaches at the event, will be doing, so it was cool to see that it was a two-way street.
This group is off the hook great. You know, I only hope that we can meet your what you're looking for in the days to come, in the next few minutes actually. We're going to share a lot of information, and the fact, I feel we're blessed that Shinder is got all the cameras up and we're running with everything, and we make a great team. You have the right to provide your assessment of what we've done in the way that you received it. I'd like to start with Santiago Roberts from Costa Rica. Okay, great player from down there, and he's come to take part in this as one of the participants. And welcome your opinion. Please feel free.
It's always nice to see how a song that is this, everyone knows this song, and it's very refreshing to see it sounded new. So it's really cool. And everyone has its own approach to it and their own phrasing. Just the bass line, how it started from the top, you could tell it was already going to be an interesting performance, which it was.
I mean, and I saw little things between the keyboards and the drums, and everyone just listening and reacting. I mean, there's a lot of stylistic things and levels of mastery going on and all that stuff, but kind of really what it's all about for me is that deeper communication. So, thank you.
I didn't fully pursue my passion. I have studied a few times with Rick, a couple other teachers in LA, Seattle. So I'm really looking forward to kind of saying yes to me through this experience. Really. Gerry, when you were soloing, I was watching your hands because, I can't play the keyboard like you, but I've seen you before in a couple of different settings, and I really listen to how you construct your lines and let it fit in with everyone else. I watch how Dean plays little things here, there, drops out, comes back in, and then his legs start moving. Thank you very much.
I liked how each one of you took what you heard in the video and what you've heard on different recordings and put it into your own voice, put it into your own way of saying it. It really put a good twist on it. It made it sound even better than it is. The song has been heard about a lot, and I like how you guys, instead of taking it and playing it exactly how it's done, you took it, played it a different way, and made it sound even better.
Super great.
Then finally, those who attended the retreat got to play for the first time on the first day and get coached by Billy and the guys. We obviously can't show every jam and coaching session for every participant, but over the course of this film, even on just this first day, you'll get a very good sense of the process. Imagine this, you're 12 years old and you're playing in front of your biggest muso idol and playing with his band. No pressure, Malachi. And he did great. You'll see more of him later. Here's a great example of the process. Play, coach, and apply. Check this out.
For me, it was really nice because there was dynamics within your playing. Like all your limbs weren't playing hard or soft at the same time. It was like this mix.
But that's what I'm talking about. Is that the awareness of tempos and, like I said, this pulse thing. I keep trying to drive it home. Is that we all have to be connected by this, not only the pulse, but for lack of a better word, the quantize.
Changing technique in both of my hands, changing technique in my feet, changing a little bit of my posture, just a smidgen, and just trying to think about all of those things all at the same time. And it's a challenge. It's a good challenge. And as I work on things in the practice room, I find that now when I go out at the gigs, it's like, oh, I'm holding my hand just a little bit differently. All right, so it's kind of starting to intertwine. It's not there yet. It floats in and it floats out, and as does my time float in and float out. It's generally fairly okay, but there's always a million things to work on. So
that was great.
If you can just remember, so you can even sing the pattern. And when you're singing, you normally don't sing out of rhythm. So it's a great way to stay in rhythm, even when you're playing. That's how you really kind of hip. Don't go out, get out of that comfort zone. Don't try to do more than you need to do.
These sessions went on for the rest of the day, and some said they even learned more sitting at the desk observing and taking it all in than they did while playing.
Whether you're too loud or you're too soft or whatever, at the beginning of the song, fix it quickly because music's going by. Valuable music. The music, you know, the sooner it sounds good, the sooner we start feeling good. The sooner we start feeling good, our mind works better. Our brain works better when we feel good.
So far today, nothing was like I expected, but it's better than I expected. I had an opportunity to play with Billy Cobham's band on a riff that I thought of, and they all jammed on it, and then Billy sat down behind his drum kit and played along with me, and it was an incredible experience. It was a great start. Got a pretty good idea so far on some things I need to work on, and listening to the other people that have been here today, listening to them play, it's just going to be an incredible week, so we're off to a great start.
Remember to keep your head in the game. You're playing that pattern. It's 4-beat bars, four bars of 4/4. Play within that framework, but remember where you are. Try to make all of that stuff connect. You know, just don't play the patterns for the patterns. Try to have some kind of fully musical connection to it. You see, that way it makes it easier for you to make the transition out. You know, so if it's like. Exactly where you are all the time, you know, and you don't necessarily have to play, you know, but it's here, you know, it's subconscious, and so the idea is to make it so strong that you don't have to you don't even realize that you're there. You also, if you're playing with someone else, a partner, another drummer, another musician, on any other instrument. You should be in sync with them time-wise.
The last treat before the end of the day was watching Billy and the Spectrum 40 band rehearse Sphere of Influence for the big concert at the end of that week. After that, class was dismissed, and many of the participants met after dinner at the jam room set up at Mesa Arts Center and put into action what they had learned the first day. I got together with Billy and the band, along with Dom Famularo, to share how we all thought the first day went. Remember, this event had been in the making, beginning with Bill's initial thoughts of it for a very long time. So this was a very telling moment for us.
Sorry, Billy.
So it's the end of the first day of the Billy Cobham Art of the Rhythm section retreat. Let's start with Dom. And the reason I want to start with Dom to get the take on how this went the first day is because Dom was kind of, has I think a lot more objectivity, if you will, because you were an observer, a participant in a way by watching the whole thing go on. What did you think of the first day?
It's extremely exciting because what you have is you've got a variety of talent of participants that are so excited and so energetic. They are embarrassed and intimidated just from the fact of being with these great musicians. but they're equally excited, so it allows them to open up and discover new areas of themselves, to experience the journey of communication, musicianship, and expression, which is what this is all about. Very exciting.
Right. And what's interesting is the wide range of people. I mean, you've got men and women. There's a couple of young kids, 12 and 14, and all the different cultures are from all over the world. You've got someone from Germany, someone from Costa Rica, people from all over the United States. And I think that helps to make it even more interesting.
All of them are equally respectful to each other. So with that respect, it's amazing how well they listen to each other and how well they're excited about taking from each other and learning from each other. This is the magic of this retreat.
It's really about that. It's just a give and take that the teachers can learn from the students also, and the students can learn with each other. That's what's good about this, because you can practice by yourself, but when you jam with other musicians, everything changes. You know, your whole concept changes. So if you play with your regular musicians all the time and then you play with a whole other band, it changes everything, and that helps you grow. So it's really a good environment, a good seating sort of environment to have all these guys together.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Gerry?
Well, I think the great thing, like Don said, we have people from different age groups, from different parts of the country, from different parts of the world, all that have come here to learn different aspects of the art of the rhythm section.
Right.
And in addition to that, I mean, there's some people that are teaching us stuff as well, and for me, people calling tunes that they either don't know or haven't played in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's a learning experience for all of us, and the enthusiasm is fantastic.
I feel fortunate that we've got this opportunity that Billy has kind of put together for us to pay forward some of the sort of knowledge and stuff and experience that we have over the years of playing music together as a rhythm section. And for these people, not just kids but people, to be able to interact with us actually in real time playing, I think that's an invaluable experience for them. And obviously it's great for us too. And like Gerry said, we get they're calling tunes that we're not that familiar with sometimes. But it's not even about that for me. It's really more about the idea that we can positively affect their musicianship. And so they become better musicians when they leave each day than they were when they came in.
Right. Very cool. Bill, are you pleased with the first day of the big retreat?
Of course. And I don't take it lightly. Knowing where we were and what we've come to from like down to 4 people, and thinking about, are we going to be able to do this? We've come a long way, and in a short amount of time. Right now, it's topping on the cake. Every day is a very special time, and in the process, I continue to chuckle because I keep learning things. I keep hearing different bits and pieces from those participating with us, and the way they approach playing. It's very interesting. Also, my reaction to what they're doing, when I think back as to 10 years ago, approximately, or even 5 or 6 years ago, I'd be in really serious trouble with some of the things that I'm hearing, and I'm going, man, totally out in left field. What is wrong with these people? And this time around, it's more like, okay, I get why they're doing it. I understand where they're coming from. The wording, or the phrasing, what they're talking about in relationship to what they're playing, body language, all of these things. I go, okay, I know what to do with you, or I know how. Maybe I see a way we can tweak this. Mm-hmm. And it's such a wonderful feeling when you actually see the end result, and you go, yeah, they actually. He listened, or she listened, or so, and when you hear, you go, "What? That's amazing! That wasn't difficult at all."
Yeah, well, I think they come with the desire to improve, as many of them haven't expressed. Mm-hmm. Wow, that was hard to get after a long day. And because they're open to that, they're malleable. You're able to give them the one thing that's lacking, and that's the knowledge that will tweak their playing one way or the other and iron out some of those wrinkles, and whether it has to do with timing, whether it has to do with dynamics, feel, groove, a particular speaking the language of a specific style that they play or whatever.
Yes.
So that's important that they're open to it.
Yeah, for the most part, they're not defensive at all, which is really great.
Yeah.
Because,
Dan, what you do so well with Drum Talk TV is you deliver the message. So imagine, imagine a room of young, aspiring participants who really want to learn. They want to learn because they're here because of their passion for music. They're here because they know they have to learn something to allow them to go to that next level, whatever that next level is. So imagine a room of people that get the chance to experience this level of world-class musicianship with the legend of Billy Cobham at the helm to push them and drive them to a new level. When you see this happening, as we've just seen in the first day, when you see this happening, you allow people to open up to go to a whole nother level that they could only have imagined, but yet now they are experiencing.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah, and to that point, I don't know if the four of you realize this, but this is different than any other type of clinic. But what's really cool, it's not just that they get to be up and close and personal in a room with some of their musical idols, but they literally can sit at a table 12 feet away from you, Dean, for example, and watch your fingers on the fretboard and see your technique of how you pick, or the way you finger the keys, or the way you play bass, Rick, and Billy, with the way you hit cymbals or just grace them or dust them or ghost them. They are right there, and they're able to see things that they don't see when they go to a concert. Right. And even the front row might be 50 feet away from the closest player sometimes. That speaks volumes that adds into this experience for them.
They are in the band.
They're there, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like you're in their living room in the round environment. It's
I
really
feel
cool.
like they're experiencing the band on a level that that would be very, very rare for them to be able to do.
Absolutely. It's as close as they could be to being in the band. So I have one last question. When I first heard from Billy the whole concept of this thing, I had that automatic forehead slapping moment. Wow, they should be doing this at the university level. It's so different. How did you guys all respond to this when he first presented the idea? Did you think it was whack? Did it resonate with you right away? Did you not want to be bothered? Just pretend he's not here and tell me how you felt.
No, actually, for me, it sounded like it was interesting from the very beginning. There was a general idea of what Bill wanted to do.
The desired outcome is still, I think, exactly the idea that I first heard from you.
Yes.
I thought it was good because it kind of filled a void, because a lot of young musicians, they don't gig as much as people did, in the 80s or 70s or 60s. So they have another side of the coin. They have this ability to watch all these guys on YouTube, and amazing education tool right there. But to actually interact with other musicians and to and then talk about it, and what we're thinking and stuff like that. So I think it fits the bill for what's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other great lesson in this whole thing is I think a lot of musicians, when they hear rhythm section, they just think drums and bass. And they don't think of the guitar as part of the rhythm section, or the piano or keyboards as part of the rhythm section. So, Dean, what's your take on that, and how did that come into play when you first heard about the concept?
Well, I mean, that's the main thing that made me interested in doing it, was the idea that we're working on rhythm section continuity, not soloing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that that's a little bit more personal, and that's the kind of thing that you tend to work on, on an individual basis. Taking lessons or whatever, that kind of thing. But this situation is tailored towards having people thrust into a more realistic environment of what is expected of you when you go to play.
What is interesting is that each participant is here for a different reason. So they might only want certain tools just to get them to a certain level that gives them happiness and makes them content.
Great. Well, I think, from my objectivity, filming it with the guys, it was a great first day. I think everyone had an amazing experience, and I think overnight. They're going to digest a lot of this experience and come in with even more open ears, open mind, open radar, open eyes, and I think we're going to see major transformations over the course of this week.
Yeah.
So great. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. That was great.
Thank you.